last 1 year, there is something drastically transformed in the Congress in a negative manner. Congress does not function the way it used to function, or it ought to have functioned today. For them, it's all money, it's all caste. That is what has happened now because under the new leadership. Two, I think social justice has been packed and then dumped in the garbage now.
Let me remind you of a statement that you made back several times that TRS is colluded with the BJP. And the last time you said this was in February 27th, 2022. You had spoken this to me and I have it on record where you said this.
I love you, Paul.
So you had said the TRS and the BJP had colluded. My question is, how is this collusion going on? Is it progressing?
I am yet to see it.
The decision of two Congress leaders to dump the grand old party and join the BJP stoked quite a lot of discussion and debate in Telangana. I am joined by one of them, Dr. Srravan Dasoju. Thank you sir for joining us. Let me begin by asking you, the day you joined BJP, you said, for me, it's a homecoming. You feel like you've come home. What exactly made you say that statement?
The reason being, I was Swayam Sevak of Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh, RSS, right from my very, very childhood, probably when I was studying my 5th class. Later emerged as a Prardhana Pramukh, then later emerged as Mukhya Shikshak of Vivekananda Sayam Shaka in, that means evening Shaka in Nalgonda. Then subsequently I was an active Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad student leader. Right from my intermediate and graduation in Nalgonda, and then subsequently in Usmania University. I was the last General Secretary elected of Usmania University. After that, there are no elections. So my association with the party was as old as when I was child. So therefore, I said that it's like I'm coming. It's nothing new for me to have walked into the party, is what I said. And second, when in your introductory remark you said that we have dumped. Rather than that, I think we were compelled to leave, and a context was created that we could not sustain what was happening in the party, so therefore had to quit. And I spoke quite elaboratively, in fact.
Yes, I'll come to the question about what made you take that decision. But before that, if this is what you call home, what took you so long to come back home?
That's a good question. In fact, I also never thought that I will come back to BJP. In fact, I never thought, because I never worked in BJP, but I was a Swayam Sevak of RSS, and then subsequently Vidyarthi Parishad activist, and then later got into my professional life. I was in Usmania University at Institute of Public Enterprise, Administrative Staff College of India, later in the corporate sector. Actually, I never thought that I'll get into politics. I never thought, because I used to believe that to get into politics, to sustain in the politics and be successful, you need to have someone to take care of you like a godfather, and someone has to mentor you, godfather. And thankfully, at that point of time when Mr. Chiranjeevi has started Prajarajyam Party due to Pawan Kalyan and Allu Arvind and other people, particularly Pawan Kalyan, I think because of his persuasion, I have joined the Prajarajyam Party. And he stood like a godfather to me at that point of time. In politics, particularly for a person like me or like you or me, if you want to get into politics, you need to have somebody to patronage us, somebody to take care of us, give us an opportunity. You may be good, you are highly educated, you are knowledgeable, all that does not make any sense in politics. You need to have something else. So at that point of time, because of the orientation that Prajarajyam had, like Chiranjeevi and Pawan Kalyan, they both had to have an ideology of social justice and social Telangana. So, and they wanted to bring in a change and a modernity in politics. So that has actually influenced me and left my lucrative corporate career and then got into politics. Then after that, so that's how I got into politics. So you would have asked me, why have not I got into BJP? Neither they persuaded me at that point of time, nor I even thought, but it is Pawan Kalyan who made me to, join.
To give our viewers some context, so it was ABVP, then you moved to Prajarajyam, and then you moved to the TRS, and then you moved to the Congress, and finally now, hopefully finally now, the BJP. What made you take this decision, and how difficult is it for a person like you, because you face the camera, you're a spokesperson, someone who's very vocal. How difficult is it to play the tunes of the party you're in?
It's a very, very interesting question, Paul, and I have no difficulty to answer to that also. Yes. Why I say this is, to me, politics is not a game of power. Politics to me is an effort to resolve the people issues and stand with the voice of the voiceless. And that's what I have been doing. Even as a student leader, I used to fight for the rights of students. And subsequently, after my corporate and academic life, when I got into politics, I think one common line, you call it in statistics a common factor theory. One common factor that you see is this man always talks about people. And this man never got any political power per se, like never I became an MLA, never I became an MP. But today Paul is standing with me to talk about why I quit the party. That itself indicates that you are convinced that Srravan is not a very conventional politician, but Srravan is someone who always talks about people. So changing parties, I think when I was in PRP, I think I did talk about social justice. I was influenced by social justice of Pawan Kalyan and Chiranjeevi, and I did talk about the same. And then subsequently in TRS, I think I always was vocal about, in spite of, along with talking the Telangana and all that, and I actually believed Telangana formation will contribute to social justice. So my thread of focus on social justice has not changed. Subsequently in Congress, I did talk about the people issues and social justice, and I think even in BJP, I continue to do so. So my common factor is people and their problems, and be a voice of the voiceless. Now why I changed? If you ask me a next question, I'll answer.
That brings me to my next question. What made you take this step moving from Congress? You said the environment was such that you were forced to take this decision. What exactly went wrong in the Congress?
See, Paul, you know me so well for so many years. In the last 8.5 years, when I joined Congress, I knew very well that it is likely to be a sinking ship. In 2014, pretty well everything is quite evident that TRS is likely to win, and I was a blue-eyed boy of KCR, and I was a Politburo member and I was a spokesperson. Yet I left him for certain reasons, and then I chose to join the Congress party. One is because of the persuasion by Mr. Koppula Raju, and more importantly by Jairam Rameshji. Both of them have persuaded and then made me join. Before that, they made me to meet Ms. Priyanka Gandhi. So I was influenced and impressed with the kind of ideology that they talked about, and as also a token of gratitude that Sonia Gandhi ji has given Telangana. And Rahul ji, particularly, 2013, I wish you also listen to that. 2013 Chintan Shivir, if you go 2013's Rahul Gandhi ji's speech, I'm sure any youngster will get influenced, particularly someone who's got concern for the right politics that you would want to.
Then what went wrong?
I'll tell you. And then I had a great opportunity. I became a voice of Rahul Gandhi ji. Whenever he came, I had an opportunity.
Translated.
Sonia Gandhi ji, Rahul Gandhi ji, and then I did my best, whatever that they have given me. But then in the last 1 year, I think Congress is not the same Congress. Last 1 year, there is something drastically transformed in the Congress in a negative manner. The leadership change has certainly sabotaged the very ideological framework of the Congress party. Congress does not function the way it used to function, or it ought to have functioned today. For them, it's all money, it's all caste. That is what has happened now, because under the new leadership. Two, I think social justice has been packed and then dumped in the garbage now. No more social justice is an agenda. But Rahul Gandhi always talks about it, Sonia Gandhi always talks about it. But the TPCC local leadership, for them, it's an abusive word. Social justice is an abusive word. And then you have heard our leader, the former leader, I would say, what he spoke somewhere near Karnataka or in Telangana, wherever. He spoke about that only one caste has to lead not only Congress, but all political parties. The leadership is only meant for them, politics are meant for them, and they are born with some special skills that they feed everybody and they lead everybody. And rest all of them are supposed to be slaves. This is what he conveyed, if you truly understand. So that is the kind of a mindset with which the party is functioning. Two, social justice is completely destroyed. A dictatorial tendencies, no consultation, no discussion, a dictatorial way of conducting himself and as well as conducting the organization has necessitated me to quit.
Okay. One thing common in both Komatreddy, Rajagopal Garu and you is that both of you say that the leadership is at fault. So may I ask you, who according to you would have made a better leader, or even today, who do you think better than Revant Reddy can actually hold the reins together in the party?
Paul also can do a better job. I'm sorry, seriously telling you. You have never been in politics, but you can still do a better job. What you need is people sensitivity, human sensitivity, sensitivity to the people problem. You should consider your next people as human beings here, first of all. Forget about their leaders. And no individual can alone win any battle in the world. However strong you are, your shoulders may be very strong enough to slaughter hundreds of throats at a time, but still you can't win. You need to have men, you need to have team. That kind of a team spirit is necessary. That is lacking.
Okay, let me rephrase my question.
Who?
Which
I'll tell
leader?
you.
Which leader?
I'm not here to. I mean, I'm sure you're sensible enough, and then people are also sensible enough to understand this anguish that has been expressed by Rajagopal Reddy, and the anguish that I am also talking about. You go and ask off the camera. 99.9% of the leaders will confess the same thing. But if you go with the camera, Jai or, I mean, whatever they want to talk, they may talk. They may not. But that's a scenario. Just now, while I was stepping into my office, somebody was from Mahbub Nagar called me. The fellow was holding the flag of the Congress party for the last 20, 30 years. And particularly when the Congress party was in deep trouble after losing the power in the last 8.5 years, that man is there holding he is the guard there in the party. And that man is told that, no man, I am getting somebody from Telugudesam party, so you have to sacrifice. Where will he go? Why are we doing politics? End of the day, everybody will not be like Srravan to bloody quit a job and then lucrative, lakhs worth paying job and then get into politics. People have their own interests. You can't decide just like that and then sabotage careers. That's what is happening. But to me, I'm telling you, Paul, I think to talk beyond this, I think about what is happening in the Congress. I think it's up to Rahul Gandhi ji, it's up to Manikam Tagore, it's up to Sonia Gandhi ji what they have to do. It's up to the cadre and leaders. I feel, very empathic about a lot of them, who sacrificed and struggled in the party, but helpless.
So will we see many more leaders like you and Komatreddy Rajagopal take the step and choose BJP as the next option?
See, one thing is sure. I think if somebody is dissatisfied, if not today, they'll quit tomorrow. It happens in any organization, even in your media organizations or any other professional organizations. It happens. Why not in Congress? It will happen. If the agenda of the social justice is destroyed, if the hegemony of one particular community, if they want to establish, and if they want to cause dissatisfaction and to so many lakhs of cadre and leaders particularly, I think that exodus will happen. May not happen now, but it may happen tomorrow.
So you compared it to journalists or my profession. In fact, in our profession, we changed our job. We are still anti-establishment. But in your case or in politicians' case, it's the other side of the spectrum, Congress and BJP. How difficult is that? Or
I told you, how difficult it is for others, I don't know. But to me, if Srravan is given an opportunity to talk about somebody has a problem, कोई बच्चा स्कॉलरशिप के लिए लड़ रहा है, कोई गरीब माँ पेंशन नहीं आ रही है, कोई गरीब भाई बहन बेटा हॉस्पिटल में उनको ट्रीटमेंट नहीं मिल रहा है, उसके लिए श्रवण अगर खड़ के बात कर सके, उसके वॉइस बन सके, मेरा ज़िंदगी का दैट इज़ माय अल्टीमेट गोल. So I don't see a very major crisis personally for me, but for others I think each one has their own frame of references and their own value system with which they look at things. To me, I think politics is for poor people. And if BJP tells me tomorrow that Srravan, you can't talk about poor, I don't think they will do that.
and if they do?
They won't do that.
Okay, then let me ask you a comment that was made by Bandi Sanjay. He had said that we should dig up all the mosques in the state and look for Shavams or Shivams. Do you agree with these kind of statements, especially because you have never indulged in this kind of politics? Now, how different will it be considering?
Why do you want to ask me such
It is a very important question that people really want to know.
No, I don't know. I mean, what was the intention behind Sanjay ji's statement? Do you think, have you seen any Bharatiya Janata Party leaders across the country digging up mosques? If that would have happened, let's say, with 303 MPs and so much of mighty power and, whatever that you want.
But we have heard them demanding for the same.
Not demand. I don't think,
Anyway,
I mean,
my question is-
if I were to say this, the demolition of masjid happened not during Congress, not during BJP's regime. So that you know better. I don't want to get into the details. So I don't think BJP under the leadership of Narendra Modi ji or Amit Shah ji or any Nadda ji or even under Pandit Sanjay ji would want to demolish mass. I honestly don't know what was his intention. And if that is the intention of the party, that is the value system of the party, we would have seen so many cases. We have not seen that. Whatever the big case that we have seen happen during the Congress regime. So why do we blame BJP?
Okay. Let me remind you of a statement that you made back several times that TRS is colluded with the BJP. And the last time you said this was in February 27th, 2022. You had spoken this to me and I have it on record where you said this. So you had so you had said the TRS and the BJP had colluded. My question is, how is this collusion going on? Is it progressing?
I am yet to see it. You have done so much of research before you came in. That is the reason I said you are a tricky man.
No, but on a serious note, what do you
No,
think?
I think one thing I'll tell you.
Is there a collusion?
I'll tell you. BJP is very, very detrimental to, determined to dethrone KCR. I mean, because I've been, see, of course, as a spokesperson of the Congress party, I would have expressed party's view as a spokesperson. But today, the kind of conviction that what BJP has to dethrone KCR, not just to grab the power of Telangana, but to fulfill the purpose for which the Telangana state is created. In fact, BJP is also part and parcel of Telangana state creation. You would have certainly seen the role of Jetli ji, you would have seen the role of Sushma Swaraj ji in the parliament and all others, BJP MPs. So they also have a responsibility. They are part and parcel of the delivery of a baby called Telangana, and it is now landed in the hands of a dictator, a tyranny. And then there is a responsibility on the Congress party also, having given the statehood to end this role, and also BJP. But unfortunately, as I told you, they are more interested in their own pomposity and theatrics, event management, self-promotion, rather than strengthening the party. But BJP, on the other hand, what I see is that there is a conviction, there is a commitment. I've been talking to a lot of people in Delhi before I took this decision. So their sole agenda to come what may to dethrone KCR and then restore the democratic Telangana. So I think don't just be carried away with what I spoke when I was a spokesperson of the Congress party.
My last question to you, sir. We saw you contest from Khairatabad. What next? Will we be seeing you from another constituency? What is the assurance that BJP gave you? Or are you looking at the upper houses, be it MLC here or New Delhi?
See, I'm a backward class guy, so it's very easy for you to be so choosy. In politics, you have to be, but then I joined as an ordinary activist in the party. Whatever party decides on me, I think I'll contest.
Okay.
But I have interest to contest. Okay. That's my ultimate.
The message that you're sending across to the BJP. Yes. Well, wishing you all the best, sir, on your new role.
I love you.
And
thank you so much.
hopefully you'll do great.
Yeah.
Well, that was Mr. Srravan Dasoju, in fact, Professor Dasoju Srravan, speaking to the TNM and telling us about his ambitions, about his aspirations, and the plans that he has ahead in his new role in the BJP.